Never in my Division franchise career have I conquered a legendary mission with such unrelenting power, able to withstand overwhelming damage while returning it tenfold. A solo run like this is something I've rarely, if ever, seen before. Typically, solo players rely on speedruns with fragile, high-risk headshot builds, but I wanted to break that mold and show the community how the Ravenous exotic rifle truly lives up to its name, becoming the centerpiece, the axis mundi of a build designed to dominate. And not only that, this build has a survivability aspect so incredible you wouldn't believe it unless you saw it for yourself. I recently uploaded a build called Immortal, featuring up to 2 million armor, 500% amplified damage, and more. Many of you loved the concept, and from the gameplay footage at the start of the video, were convinced that you could become truly immortal. Others, however, questioned its validity. Some said it didn't work for them, while others outright called it trash and challenged me to run a full legendary solo, claiming only then will they be convinced. I don't typically respond to challenges like this because I'm confident in the builds that I create. I wouldn't share a build that doesn't work as intended, but for this one, I decided to make an exception because this was the perfect opportunity to showcase a playstyle that many players overlook, a teaching moment. Secrets of the Deflector Shield, like how positioning yourself higher than elite NPCs who only target your head can completely nullify their attacks, or how you can use purple and red bar NPCs bullets to kill elite enemies. So much more. And how to synergize the shield with the Ravenous exotic rifle to create an elegantly devastating playstyle. But it wasn't easy. Don't get me wrong, some areas had EMP jammers nestled right in the middle of the enemy clusters, effectively disabling my Deflector Shield. Mini tanks and 𝐒𝐚𝐽𝐽𝐻s dealt staggering amounts of damage. And to top it off, if I die, I had to start from the very beginning, which is so frustrating and kind of kills your enthusiasm and drive to even want to do it. And here's the crazy part. It's the longest and hardest legendary mission in the Division 2. At the end of the day, this challenge demands raw skill, grit, and confidence. Now sit back and enjoy part 1 of this incredible legendary solo playthrough. And for those of you wondering how long it took me to do this legendary mission, well, I'll leave that up to you to figure out. And for my members on my YouTube channel, after part 2 of this, I'll have the full playthrough, unedited, for your viewing pleasure. Man, oh man, this is gonna be a crazy one. I know it, but I'm used to doing this first part. At the beginning, it was a breeze. I figured out a little hack to go up to the right, surpass all the enemies, and get right in the middle of them so that I can surprise them in a way that throws their defensive structure off, and it only takes a few minutes. I didn't even have to use my Ravenous.
They got one of ours. Enemy on the run. This one! Taking heavy fire!
I wanted to use this pistol, the technician's specific specialization pistol, call the Maxim 9. It helps me get the skill damage I need since I don't really have a lot on this build. You see, this is a hybrid, and I needed certain attributes to affect the Ravenous' playstyle. So this Maxim 9 is just what I need when I'm not using the Ravenous. It's the perfect synergy.
I'm reloading here. Armor's almost done.
Down and out.
After destroying these initial enemies, there was another wave, and here's where the Ravenous shines. This is one of the few enemies wherein the Ravenous is very effective. So I'll just wait for these robotic dogs to come up here. It's kind of useless using a pistol against these enemies and my deflector shield because they shoot these grenade launchers, and their armor plating is very hard to pierce. Now time to use a Ravenous. With the talent, it specifically targets those armor plates so I could get rid of them very quickly. Pretty cool, huh? It's over with. On to the next area. Now, okay, I'm a little unsure here because I've done this with a group of individuals and I know it's down that tunnel. There's one chunga, there's rushers, and there are drone operators. I had to be careful because one hit from that explosive drone can take 3/4 of my shield's health. Alright, let's do this. Once again, I can use my specialization weapon to at least hurt the chunga before he gets here, and I can't be intimidated. Everything on this build is working to my benefit, so I'm gonna stand strong.
On the way.
Oh, snap. Did you see that? I just learned something. That explosive drone, I noticed that it detonates at the location you were, not where you're at. So if I see it coming towards me, all I have to do is take a few steps back. That's gonna help me throughout this legendary. Oh my goodness, these healers are so annoying. It's usually 2 of them in each area, and they keep reviving your allies. But it's okay. They can't do anything to hurt me. It's just a matter of time now. I will say that later on, I'm really going to have to take these healers out early, because you know they revive the 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿𝐴, and that can get you killed if you're not paying attention.
Taking serious heat here. Target is here.
Alright, we're good. Am I really going to be able to beat this solo? Let's move on to the next area. You know, the Lexington assault rifle is so good. The 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴 that just came out. It's so good that it works in a build like this. With 2 million armor, come on man, it's actually a meta contender. We're going to get into that a little later because I actually use the Lexington in this playthrough. Now, this area is tough. This is one of the longest areas and it had me wondering where should I go. But I discovered something while playing. And this is something a lot of people don't know, okay? Elite NPCs aim at your head. It doesn't matter which one they are, the 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴, the Grenader, they all aim at your head. So I discovered something that completely nullifies their damage against you. If you pay attention, there are a lot of areas on the maps that afford you a high ground advantage. So if you look at an area like this, you can stand right here and cover the entire battlefield. And the thing about these NPCs, they flank you, but they're smart, so they're not going to get too close. So if you stand in an advantageous position, you can dominate the battlefield. So this area, I decided to stand here. Remember, dodge those explosive drones by stepping back when you see them coming towards you. And you'll just see enemies' health getting deleted. Now they do have these healers that drop their boxes. And if an NPC is within that range, you can't kill them. You might as well forget about it. So now your strategy is to figure out how to take that NPC out, the one that has the healer box. That's your first priority. Once you do that, then it's just a matter of time. And by the way, don't be afraid to fall back if it gets a little bit too risky. You can die like this. Don't get too arrogant. Fall back if you want to be safe. There was a few times where I almost died and I barely escaped with my life. But once all of these ads are cleared, there comes another 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴. Now you're already at the high ground, so you can run down there to get the advantage by gaining a substantial amount of damage from him standing right here. But if you stand here too long, enemies are going to flank behind you. So get back up there in your spot and wait for the 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴 to slowly walk up and get melted by your Deflector Shield. You will not take any damage, but make sure you pay attention to the health of your shield. Wow, it's getting closer and closer. Once this area is clear, there's going to be a 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴 and 2 robotic dogs that try and flank you. So make sure you don't run through to the other area before running back and getting another advantageous position atop this watchtower. That 𝐒𝐻𝐿𝐴 will get melted faster than you ever seen. And don't worry about that robotic dog running around shooting at you. It won't hurt you. After killing the 𝐒𝐚𝐭, then pull your Ravenous out and destroy those 2 robotic dogs. Making your way to the next area. And here's where it gets a little bit more dangerous, okay? Because after a few mobs, there are going to be 2 more 𝐒𝐚𝐭s, and you have to kill the snipers that are at a distance. They do not miss. Sometimes even if you're at high ground, they'll still hit you in the head because they're sharpshooters. So you have to get into a position, use your Ravenous, and strategically take them out. Make sure you don't get killed, because it only takes a few shots for them to take you out, and just like that, you're back to the beginning. So be careful, time your shots, and get those explosions. Man, this is crazy. The 𝐒𝐚𝐭s tried to flank me again. After killing those other robotic dogs in the field, they spawn in the same area where you came out of. But this time there will be 2 𝐒𝐚𝐭s, and believe it or not, the Deflector Shield can withstand those as well at the same time. It's crazy, man. All right, let's go. On to the next area, the crocodile pit. Only thing you have to worry about here is not letting the enemy get into this room with you. There are going to be 2 NPCs that drop their healer boxes in plain sight. This is the first time I use the 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬 because it has health damage. It'll destroy those healer boxes in no time. And with the healers running around reviving everyone, it also helps with taking out their health only, because when the healers come out, they only revive them to full health, not armor. So you can clean them up easily. There's 1 𝐒𝐚𝐭 that comes out and 2 waves of shotgunners that rush you. But they're pretty easy work. There's so many enemies shooting you here at once. The deflector damage that you deal back at them is astonishing. Once you clear this area, then it's on to the next room. Wow, the birdhouse. How am I gonna do this? I kept questioning myself, how can I do this? I mean, come on, man. There are so many different areas these NPCs spawn from. Doors behind you, doors in front of you, then they have a minigun, snipers on the ridge above. One jungle that spawns later, drone operators with those exploding drones. It's like, how can you even strategize to play this area? You know what I said? I need to just go into the belly of the beast and see where it takes me. So I just rushed them aggressively, aiming my deflector shield left and right, front, back, making sure I wasn't getting hit or flanked. So this is the area wherein I said it requires a lot of grit and confidence. Keep your wits about you and play strategically. Know where the spawns come from, and you should be good. Remember, there's no shame in falling back, because when that chunga came out, I made sure to fall back and take him out with Ravenous. You see, it was just him and I. The perfect opportunity to take him out with reckless abandon. And there you have it. I beat the birdhouse. It's getting intense. I'm starting to get nervous at this point because this next room has the hardest hitting NPCs in the game. Hands down. The mini tanks. They relentlessly shoot at you and those bullets hurt. Along with that, they fire grenades at your feet that can take you out in 2 or 3 hits. Sometimes one. They'll destroy your shield too, so you really have to be careful. Luckily, this room was my friend. I funneled everyone in here. And check this out. There's a staircase, so nothing can really hurt me. At this point, it's all about patience. Right? Now, those mini tanks, even though they hit really hard, and whenever they get low on health, they run back to their masters. They get healed, which is the most annoying thing in the game, by the way. The Lexington came in clutch because, like I said, even though they're the hardest hitting, they only have health. Since it's an assault rifle, it has a great amount of health damage, which works to my benefit. Now, with the weapon talent I have, it is a very effective weapon against them. Pair this with your EMP grenades to freeze them in place and you're good to go. And when you're comfortable, you can run out there and clean up the remaining ads. Okay, my heart is pounding. This has to be the most difficult area yet because, you know, I had a plan going into here. There's an EMP jammer smack dab in the middle of the enemies that's impossible to get to without dying. I said to myself that my plan before getting here was that, oh, that's going to be easy. I'll just use my technician specialization weapon and take it out with the rockets from a distance. So I saved them all up, ready to utilize them. But when I got there, I noticed it's completely out of reach. You see, there's always a plan until you actually get there and it doesn't work. Then you have to improvise, which I did. But that's where we reach the end of part 1. What do you think is going to happen here? How do you think I take the EMP jammer out? And I'm sure by now, after seeing how much this build dominates where this is going, but it's not what you think. But we're going to save that for part 2. I appreciate you stopping by and watching this video. This really reignited something in me because I didn't really want to spend the time doing this, but it was actually an adrenaline rush the entire time. And I'm happy I did it. So, like the video, and if it gets 500 likes, I'm going to release part 2 sooner than later with the updated version of the build. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Did you enjoy it? And how would you create a build to play Manning National Zoo Legendary or any other? I'll see you in the next one, fam. Be right out.